Thank you for welcoming us onto your headphones. I'm Eddie.
And I'm Chema, reviewing Happiest Season. This is the rollback. All right.
Oh, we did not just get done reviewing Elf just now. What makes you think that, folks?
That was a mistake. All right.
We're keeping that.
So we're back. We're talking about the new Hulu exclusive film for Christmas or holidays or whatever you wish to call it in the last year of Trump's America.
Hail Satan. Hail Satan.
So Happiest Season, the new movie directed by director Clea Duvall. This holiday, everyone's secrets are coming out. Hey, you get it? You get it? Happiest Season. A young woman's plans to propose to her girlfriend while her family's annual holiday party are upended when she discovers her partner hasn't yet come out to her conservative parents. So the new Hulu exclusive stars Kristen Stewart, Mackenzie Davis, Alison Brie, Aubrey Plaza, Dan Levy, and a group of other colorful actors. So this was a very interesting setting for a movie. For one, Hulu has been home to very interesting new movies. I mean, definitely a competitor for Netflix. Probably not to that big scale, but definitely present. Eddie, not a big fan of Netflix. A couple of years ago, Netflix released one of my favorite documentaries ever on where they tried to give back the credit to the real creator of Batman. The documentary is called Batman and Bill. I recommend everyone watch it. And last year they made a very nice 8-episode adaptation of one of my favorite novels of all time, which was Looking for Alaska. And the adaptation came out pretty good as well. So here we are with Happiest Season, and we got one of my favorite actresses working right now, Mackenzie Davis, at the forefront, and Kristen Stewart, who definitely has been turning around a lot of heads recently. She's been coming out into a lot of very interesting projects like Charlie's Angels and Camp X-Ray, which was a movie I really, really enjoyed. But this is a nice rom-com for the holidays. We just got done recording review of Elf, and I saw Eddie very positively with that. I don't think it's going to be the same thing here, but let's see how it goes.
No, I really like this movie. What I meant to say, the thumbs down was normally Hulu originals. For me, I've yet to see a good one. I've yet to see a good Hulu original like movie product.
Okay.
This movie though was the first really good one. Like, I really enjoyed it. I've been forced to watch the Twilight films recently. Not the biggest Kristen Stewart fan. I really like her in this movie. She's funny. She has a personality.
Very funny. I think that we can totally hate Bella Swan. I don't think we can hate Kristen Stewart. Like I think she's really funny. She hosted, I think, one of the best episodes of SNL in recent memory, where she both made fun of Trump in her monologue. She cursed, which is not allowed to do during the opening monologue, and she came out in the monologue at the same time. So that was she mentioned that Trump being president, and then she mentioned she came out showing these tweets by Trump from like 6 years ago or like 10 years ago, where she's like, "Man, Kristen Stewart sucks. She cheated on Robert Pattinson," and then she ended up like making fun of Trump for that, and then saying like, "Man, if only you cared about real things instead of what I'm doing, which doesn't even matter now because I'm like super gay."
I think I heard about that.
And then she said, "This show is gonna be fucking great," which you're not allowed to do in the opening monologue. Oh gosh, she was so great in that. She had really nice sketches. She did one with Pete Davidson about a meet cute that was super funny. If you haven't seen that sketch, definitely check it out. And the Totino sketch is gonna live rent free in my head for like the rest of existence. So, Kristen Stewart, I'll just say it, national treasure.
Okay, wait, she's no Tom Hanks. She'll get there. She may get there someday.
She'll get there.
It'll be very hard. She'll have to voice an iconic toy, but perhaps someday.
Yeah.
She's awesome from this one.
Give her a chance. Yeah. She was so cool in this movie. Like I saw her in the movie, and I was like, damn, I want to be her friend. Like she just seems like a
Right?
really chill person.
But
Yeah,
she like radiates like fucking like Anna Kendrick to some degree. Not
yeah,
necessarily on the level, but you get what I mean. She's so lively and bubbly. Like, why isn't she like this in her other roles? It's not her fault. I think that they constrain her because damn, she's got range. Like, wow.
yeah. I've been hyping the movie Camp X-Ray for like a billion years now, so I don't know why. It's nice that people are finally turning like positively to her. She had one of my favorite scenes in the otherwise forgettable Charlie's Angels remake. There's one scene where she's talking with the new girl, and her name is Sabine in the movie, and she's like, "Listen, Sabrina," and she goes, "Oh, my name is Sabine." And like, what? They're like, Sabine, it's Italian, and they're like, and she's like, "Are you Italian?" And she just goes, "No."
Oh god damn it.
Oh god, and she's good. And then you pair her up with Mackenzie Davis, who has been just turning performance behind performance for the past couple of years. I mean, she was so good in Blade Runner. She was so good in the new Terminator. She was really good in that male what was it called? That Zac Efron, Miles Teller, Michael B. Jordan rom-com, but that was about guys. She was really good in that one too.
Friends waiting. I know what you're talking about. I know.
Yeah.
I know
And she was in one of my favorite movies for the past couple of years, which was Izzy Gets the Fuck Across Town. So she's a talent. And she's using her range here to do a more toned down performance because she's very constricted in this. She plays this woman who's dating Kristen Stewart, but she's not out to her family yet. And Kristen Stewart, well, she's one of the running jokes in the movie is that she's an orphan. And they just introduce her as the orphan.
I don't know how they make that a joke, but yeah, they do. They make a good joke.
Yeah. So yeah, Happiest Season starts again, much like Elf, a very simple premise, but this one a little bit more realistic. And I like the movie, but I felt like it was a little too mean-spirited at some points.
So at what point, like, you know, what kind of I guess like that? Because I mean, to me, right from the very beginning, it feels very lighthearted. Like even the opening sequence where you kind of see where they meet, they date, they go through each of the holidays together. You know, they give each other gifts and stuff. Like I never really felt like it was mean spirited. Yeah, not to the very end. Which fuck that fight.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I feel like that scene was a little too real. Like Hereditary dinner table seemed too real. Like
which part? The one where she comes out, or when Kristen Stewart tells her like too late?
Right before that, I think when Alison Brie, who plays, I'll just say it, a bitch in this movie. Alison Brie plays the other sister, the one who's married and has 2 kids. Alison Brie pops out and she plays this really bitchy sister character who doesn't hide it. And when she finds out that Mackenzie Davis and Kristen Stewart are in a relationship, she pretty much like forces them to come out, which is not a cool thing to do. Yeah. And then that was pretty mean-spirited, but then immediately after what Mackenzie Davis says, like, "No, I'm not a lesbian," I'm like, "Oh, come on, man. Like, she's right there."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that Audrey Pettis or Olivia Munn? Which one is it?
What are you talking about?
That's the ex-girlfriend. Is that
Aubrey Plaza? Yeah.
Aubrey Plaza. Okay, gotcha. Aubrey Plaza even like goes fucking again because it's not the first time it's happened. Apparently, it happened in high school.
Yeah, it happened to them as well. Yeah. And that's when the movie got like a little complicated because it's like, okay, I want these two to be together, but I don't know. I think they got together very quickly by the end. Like I feel like
that was a little too fast.
Yeah, I feel like the movie has really nice setup, really nice middle parts, but then by the end, it kind of gets solved a little too quickly for my taste. And I saw a review saying that, you know, the straights have had pretty simple like ways to fix a movie. We might as well take it for us. And like, okay, you know what? Go, do your thing,
Yeah.
I like the movie. I dug it. I don't want to throw out the phrase new Christmas classic, but definitely a movie that really diversifies the genre and it works, man. In the same way that Krampus is a horror Christmas film, I think this is a nice, very nice
rom-com.
rom-com with a twist. The twist being, oh, we need to hide from the family.
Yeah. The movie that Hallmark didn't have the balls to make.
Totally. Yeah. This reminds me of like a super extra well done Hallmark film, in a way that, yeah,
better actors,
definitely way
better budget.
Yeah.
On-set location, better character development.
Yeah.
Why are we calling it a Hallmark movie again?
Because you can take the ideas of something bad and just make it good eventually.
What's called this movie? This movie, and I'm not gonna try to like represent any specific peoples here.
You've never succeeded in that, so
I suck at it, and I'm glad you recognize that, because for this next part. So from what I understand, there's a lot of positive buzz going for this film. One of the reasons being is because of the positive portrayal, or the realistic portrayal, I guess, of LGBT characters, as far as, being fucking realistic, like being human beings, not like outwardly, not necessarily outwardly affectionate, but outwardly, loud or, flamboyant. It's like, well, no, like these characters, and they just happen to be gay, but like there's nothing crazy about it, which from what I understand is what some members of the community want. I know David or Daniel Levy?
Dan Levy, who's on Schitt's Creek.
I was gonna say, okay, so apparently Schitt's Creek got a lot of positive buzz because of how they portrayed his character. He's gay in the show, but the way they portray him, it's never a thing. Like to my understanding, I haven't seen the whole series start to beginning. I've seen several episodes from each season. But to my understanding, they never really reference the fact that he's gay. Like, it's never like a big thing where he has to come out. It's just like, oh yeah, and he's gay, like whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a thing that exists. Like, he just happens to be. In that same vein, in this film, literally the fact that how do I say it? The fact that they're gay is a positive thing, but it's also not necessarily a thing that completely derails the film and like it dominates everything. They are, taking time before she can come out and whatnot, but it's a very positive representation from what I understand that people of that community wanted, which fucking win, man. Fucking win. Like
it's part of the
so
plot.
Much.
It's part of the plot, but it's not tragic, except for the scenes that are tragic. But but for example, for Kristen Stewart, her character, like her being gay, like is on the same par of her like not having her parents. Like I think the fact that she's homeless is mentioned more than the
homeless orphan, Jesus. Oh man.
Which was a very nice, funny running joke, and I like those things. I feel like when we saw Love, Simon a couple years ago, I thought, okay, maybe now it's time for like portraying more of the LGBT community, not only in a positive way, but also in a more mainstream way. And of course, the first ones that are going to be, I have to say it's of course all white people, but we'll get to the point where more people are represented. It might take a second, but it was cool to watch this movie. It was cool. I don't know what was the plan originally, if it was to be released on theaters or if it was always supposed to be like a Hulu film.
To the best of my knowledge, Hulu had to take up distribution because of COVID.
Yeah,
it was initially meant to be a theater release.
I read the story from Aubrey Plaza, which is that they finished filming this movie like on February of this year, which is right when COVID started. So apparently they finished recording it. They filmed the movie in Pittsburgh. She got into a cab to the airport, and she was talking with the cabbie about the coronavirus. And then the taxi guy is just like, "Oh yeah, we've had it in Pittsburgh for like a long time." And she's just like, oh wow. And then apparently like Kristen Stewart got it and like a bunch of other people got it, but they were fine because they're famous and they can get healthcare,
the best healthcare that money can buy.
Yeah. And then but Aubrey Plaza said that she didn't get it, so good for them, they're alive.
Fuck it, if they can, they can.
It
was scheduled to be released on November 20th. Mm-hmm. But due to Hulu, it was purchased by Hulu, and then they released it. Yeah.
What a good win for Hulu, honestly. Good for them.
Well, that explains why it's so good. They didn't make it; they just bought it. So that kind of explains why this movie is so fucking good. Like Hulu didn't make it; they fucking bought it. Like
Yeah.
Hulu, you can't make your own shit. Just go buy it at the store. Just fucking. Maybe COVID was the best thing to happen actually to Hulu because they've had a few releases that they bought off. Right, Netflix bought the Chicago 7. Hulu got the Happiest Season. Both really good movies. Maybe that's a better strategy to have. Just to start buying the movies.
Okay, so should we celebrate now that HBO Max is gonna stream Wonder Woman 2 instead of watching it in theaters, or
Oh, is that something worth celebrating? I'm so conflicted.
Did you saw the fucking thing that Christopher Nolan is doing? Like he's publicly like, you ruined everything, Warner Brothers. You ruined everything. How dare you not show this in big screens? And we're like, bro, like 200,000 people are dead.
More,
like,
over 250 at this point?
Like, I'm sorry that we can't watch your fucking Tenet movie in like, you know what? I'm gonna say this just so he gets annoyed. I watched your stupid movie on my phone. Okay, there it is, Nolan. I hope you're happy. I watched it the way you intended, in a phone with the headphones that came with the phone.
Did he actually say he hated that?
He made like a comment saying like, oh, movies are supposed to be on the big screen, and then like a bunch of people are like, here I am watching your movie on a phone, like go cry about it.
Yeah. So if we're gonna take shots at Nolan for a sec, you didn't pull off Tenet, buddy. You did not. You pulled off Inception. You tried to get smarter, but you seemed dumber in the end. I'm sorry. I love you.
Okay, so we just lost the college film majors, so let's keep talking about Happiest Season.
So the story over. Do you feel like the story was? I love the story because it doesn't feel crazy. It doesn't feel out of place. Yes, I know. I keep using that phrase, but I fucking love it when the movies don't do that. It doesn't feel like it's the end of the world. It feels also just almost a little realistic, maybe to some people. Like, oh, fuck, this is going to be stressful right now.
Yeah, totally. But I feel like these are stories that need to be told. And I feel like they do a good job at pulling it off. And I think the movie also has enough humor and very nice performances to keep you engaged, even if you're not relating to exactly to what's happening. Because Kristen Stewart plays probably the most sympathetic character that she's ever played. And like we've been mentioning at the start, she's so freaking likable in this. Like, almost to the point where you're just like, man, like, just if only things went well for her, like for the entire film. Mm-hmm. And Mackenzie Davis, who plays also a very conflicted character, one of the best scenes in the movie is right before the whole fight at the party starts, is when they're in the little room that they put her on at the basement at the start, and they're talking, and she says like you're hiding me, and then she goes, I'm not hiding you, like I'm hiding myself. And I don't know, just that whole back and forth, like you can understand both sides, and that it is complicated, and it is a fight that relationships tend to have, but we're just looking at a different angle from it, and I appreciated that angle. I think it's definitely a conversation that needs to be had, and definitely something that is normalized more not by making a movie that's super dramatic that tackles the subject, but by making a very light, fluffy, funny movie which touches upon things that are very real. And I think the movie succeeds in that. And I think it succeeds in that because, the director, Clea Duvall, mentioned that the movie is made as kind of like an autobiography. Like she said, this story actually happened to her. I don't know which person was she in the relationship, but yeah, apparently this is a real story that she just felt like she wanted to tell. And I think that's cool. I think that's a real cool thing to do. And the movie works. Like I said, the movie is funny, is engaging. The performances are really good. The characters are a little cartoony sometimes, but when they need to be real, they turn up the realness.
You're not wrong. I think the only thing that I felt from this movie was I never felt like the family was conservative. I never got that feeling. Like I got the feeling that they were like, image is everything, but they never kind of outright said like, not the way. I don't know. Which maybe they did that way they were still somewhat redeemable. I could be wrong.
Yeah. I don't know. The only time where that actually like comes forward is when they're at the restaurant and they bump into Aubrey Plaza, like coming out of the restroom, and the parents like mention like, "Oh, I feel so bad for her parents, with her lifestyle choices," and it's like, "Oh my
Really?
god, yeah."
I don't remember that scene. I don't remember that scene. Okay, see, there you go. Then that's where it was sprinkled in the whole oh,
Yeah.
hey, gay is wrong kind of thing. I don't remember them ever saying it. So okay, yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah, they included it.
You know what's the vibe that I got from the parents and from the whole house and from them driving to the whole house? It kind of gave me like Get Out vibes.
Yes, yes. I thought that same fucking thing actually.
It really gave me Get Out vibes. It didn't help that Mackenzie Davis has this like bangs that kind of make her look like the girl from Get Out as well.
Dude, I thought it was her until I looked it up. I'm like, no fucking way. For real. I even told Mickey at one point, I'm like, what if she's kidnapping Kristen Stewart to for conversion therapy?
That would be a wicked bummer, in the words of Stephen King. Like,
yeah, that would be. But luckily, it wasn't.
Yeah. There's like this framing device happening throughout the film, like a recurring motif is that the mother keeps trying to take this perfect picture of the family.
Mm-hmm.
Because the dad is running for mayor, and that I don't know how much of that was real, like from the real life story, from that whole like section of the dad being into politics and the mom trying to do everything for them, kind of gave me vibes of, there's this little movie called The Birdcage with Robin Williams, which is kind of a similar setup but a little different. And yeah, the whole interplay of the parents with the LGBT kid gave me vibes of that. And The Birdcage is one of those like underrated classics that if you've seen it, you know how good it is. It used to be a play, and the movie plays out pretty well as well. So yeah, it gave me Birdcage vibes. It gave me Get Out vibes, but in a good way. I mean, there's
a good way.
Get Out was such a game changer that
Fair.
I was kind of waiting to see, okay, who's gonna try to tell this story again in a different lens.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like when you watch when you if you go to the movies right now, which you shouldn't, you should stay home. But you're gonna see that mostly everything is based on a property, or it's a remake, or it's a reboot, or something. And every once in a while, something original comes out where you're like, okay, how long is it gonna take for someone to try to tell this story again? Because I think that's when you consider it a classic. The last time that I saw something so big and that I still haven't seen anyone try to replicate it was Spirited Away. And I don't know, Get Out, there was an episode of the show Atlanta that tried to like mimic a couple of scenes from Get Out, which was done on purpose, but it hasn't been done since then. And this kind of did it, but not in a scary way, but in a way of, meeting the parents is very stressful, and it's positioned in the same way that it was done in Get Out. But if you haven't seen this movie, this is nothing like Get Out. You can relax.
What's called? I think one other part that I really like about this movie is how relatable it is. The family members, there's always those two siblings that have the rivalry. There's always the nice one, the bitchy one, one of the parents kind of overbearing, the other one kind of like, career first. I like how they kind of fill in all the roles of like, the typical, atypical family, if that makes sense.
Totally. Did you feel bad about the other sister, about the third sister?
Dude, I matter too. Dude, I felt when they destroyed her painting, that pissed me and Nikki off the most. When they broke her painting, we're like, you son of a bitch, she spent 100 hours doing that. She's a person, damn it.
Yeah.
She was the real MVP.
She was the real MVP, totally. Like, I just felt so bad for her the entire time. Because they kept just putting her on the side and making her feel bad, and she's just like, yeah, it's fine.
Well, what she even say at one point, y'all gave up on me when I wouldn't stop chewing on my fingers in pre-K. I was like, fuck. But also like but also all the daughters kind of lash out at the parents, like, and say like, you made us compete for your love. Fuck you. Like by that point, all the sisters kind of united, and they were like, you know what,
common enemy.
Yeah, it's the three of us against them. That's how you unite a war-torn country. Give them a common enemy. Whether it be the Nazis or the parents. I feel like that's not the best comparison, but you know where I'm getting at.
Totally. I mean, Not really, but totally. Oh god.
Who did you watch this movie with? Like with your family or by yourself? Or
I watched it by myself. I had a. Do you see this little thing behind me?
yes.
This list is movies I need to watch, and these are movies that I watched that I need to review. Elf and
Fuck.
Happiest Season are at the top. Right under them, there's Freaky and New Mutants and Noel. On the other side, we have to watch. I still need to watch Mank, Emma, Palm Springs, and the new Cartoon Saloon film Wolf Walkers, which is gonna come out on Friday. So we got
Watch
our
Fat
work
Man.
cut out.
Watch
Oh,
Fat Man.
I've heard about this,
Dude. I'm halfway through. It's awesome. I like it a lot.
Yeah. So
But Happiest Season.
Superhero December. Who? I guess that's
Oh, we can have extras. We can do extra movies.
Sure.
Jesus.
Yeah, Happiest Season. There's like there has been this ongoing debate on Twitter and on social media about how Kristen Stewart should have just said, "Oh fuck it, I'm gonna go with Aubrey Plaza."
I was kind of at one point I was actually hoping that she would. Actually, I was kind of hoping that the movie would twist and like her initial girlfriend was going to become like the villain or like a character that was beyond saving, and she was going to go with Audrey Plaza. I was kind of hoping for that. It didn't happen, but it wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world.
It wouldn't, but this is when it gets a little complicated because, of course, you want the main couple to succeed, but Mackenzie Davis, who I've been on record saying I love her in every movie that she has been in, but she was a little unlikable in this, and it's the character, she was a little hard to defend. She was hard to like. She was a little hard to defend. It was easy to see her viewpoint, and it was very easy to see her perspective and how this was also hard for her. But this is also fiction, so it's very easy for us to go, "Oh, come on, man, just drop your
tell them
parents.
already. Yeah,
just tell them," because we want to see our heroes succeed. Our heroes being the two of them. But I like how there's really no real villain in the movie. Like it's just a lot of people that are very misunderstood, just kind of clashing against each other. And this is why everyone should read Games People Play by Dr. Eric Byrne, which is one of the best books on intersectional psychology that you can read because he tells you about the breakdown of family and how it works. Anyway, it's important that the core of the movie is that it is about the relationship, and it is about how family is affected by it and how family affects it from the very start. And we see that in the very interesting dynamic of this couple where she hasn't come out to her family, but she's inviting her partner to come into Christmas. So of course we get our happy ending, and of course we get our confession, and of course we get our forgiveness, and of course the mom gets her precious little photo for Instagram. Of course. But getting there, as they say, is always more interesting. And I think we have a very interesting film here for that.
Did you think that were all the characters redeemable in this movie? Like to some degree, I found particularly the father was a little hard to forgive him. I did when he was kind of like when he told the lady that was willing to sponsor him, "Hey, as long as your daughter adopts a don't kiss, don't tell policy, we can work with you."
Yeah,
I that redeemed him to some degree, but also like, hey, one good call does make up for like 20 apparently some years of being a shitty father.
And this is why the movie employs that little time skip at the end of the film. Like they jump to like a full year later. I don't think at the end of the, I mean, it's not my responsibility to write for the author to say what happened after, but I don't think everything is solved by the end. I think there is still a lot to work on, and I think they're still working on that post credits. Like I think there's still, I think the movie doesn't end with everything solved magically, even though they kind of do it because they play the happy music and all they're married by the time skip. But it employs a very interesting way of showing us and not telling us that, oh, this is just the start of trying to rebuild everything. It's not perfect, but it's what's gonna be done now.
Yeah. There was one and I'm not gonna again pretend to speak for any kind of for a community, but
Mm-hmm.
it seemed, and I'll give her credit. I think you said her name was what, Mackenzie?
Mackenzie Davis, yeah.
Mackenzie Davis. I'll give her credit. She acted the absolute shit out of that one scene where she's finally coming out and she's bawling and she's like holding back tears, but still managing to talk, and she cracks her voice.
Yeah.
Fucking props to her. Like, that acting is amazing. It feels heavy. Like, oh, fuck, it's happening. And they did a good job of, like, I guess, building up to that point where it's like, shit, this feels like a big deal. Which it was, which it was.
Okay.
It shouldn't have been, but fucking... and even Dan Levy, like, fucking tears Kristen Stewart. Look, when you came out, what happened?
Yeah.
Mom and dad said they still love me and they support me. Yeah, and I got kicked out of the house. And then there's everything in between. Like...
Yeah.
He's very good at playing the straight man.
Ironic.
yeah, ironically. Is that the right phrase? The straight man, the guy that like
it is.
Puts the protagonist in perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. But by the way, his ongoing joke about the fish, top notch.
So many scenes. He's a treasure. He's genuinely a treasure to be had.
He's very funny in the film. I can't wait to watch more of what he has. Mackenzie Davis, I mentioned before, she's a talent. She's great and a lot. She's mostly well known for that episode of Black Mirror, which is her and the other girl, and they're in that club where they play that song. Oh, heaven is a place on earth.
Motherfucker! That's where I recognize her from. Son of a bitch, dude. That's my favorite Black Mirror episode.
Yeah, really?
Like, by far, it's not even close.
That's so optimistic.
Huh?
It's so optimistic. It's probably the only optimistic episode they've ever done.
God, remember the episode with that freaking kid that's a pizza delivery driver? Jesus.
God, remember the episode where the prime minister fucks the pig?
Isn't it like the first episode, or is that the second?
It's the first episode, yeah.
Dude, and then right after, like when they do the jump forward, and him and his wife are like, and they close the doors, and she just like fucking leaves his hand and like walks off. Was it worth it?
High price to pay for art.
So Happiest season.
Happiest season.
So what would you rate this? Like, your final thoughts on this?
I think it's an enjoyable enough film. I don't know if I'll probably watch it again at some point. But when we're comparing it to, like, when we're talking about Elf earlier, time will tell if it's going to be a classic. I'm definitely hearing a lot of buzz on it, which is really, really great to hear. But I don't know. I think it's an enjoyable and enough film. Hopefully, it takes its place in the like community's consciousness of normalizing more more of the LGBT community in mainstream film. I hope that it does that. I hope that I think it nailed it. I think it nailed what it was trying to do. The movie's a little too long for my take. I would have taken out a couple of scenes from it. I think at the end of the day, the Aubrey Plaza character is just kind of there to just cause conflict and not really even fulfill that conflict. So I think that's a little over extra thing. But I wouldn't take her out. I mean, Aubrey Plaza, national treasure too.
She plays Psylocke.
No, that's
Olivia Munn. I keep getting them so confused. Is that? Yeah, I'm wrong with that.
Yeah. I liked it. I would rate it like a solid B plus.
I would say a solid 7. I would agree. A 7, B minus. It's.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna become like an Elf level, like.
Yeah, but what is?
Yeah, like it's not a cultural milestone, but it is like I think an important film, a good film to be watched, and I see them maybe doing a sequel down the road, possibly.
It's possible. I mean, it ended up on a pretty good note. Maybe they can introduce a kid in the second one, or not. They don't have to conform to any kind of gender norm, so they can really do whatever they want. But if anything, I hope this kickstarts. What's up?
Did they show the wedding? I don't remember.
During the credits, they show like the Instagram feed of the mom, and it shows like them engaged but not yet married, I think.
Happiest season 2. It's wedding time, bitches.
Happening season.
Happening season.
Seasons greetings, seasons happy. I don't know.
Seasons beatings.
If anything,
Sounds like a bad wrestling movie.
If anything, I just want Kristen Stewart to have like a long, fruitful career after this because
she fucking deserves it.
She's good. Goddamn, she's good.
No.
I'm gonna send you a couple of the sketches from SNL because I think you really like them.
Please do. Please do.
So that's Happiest Season. I don't know if there's anything else you'd like to add about
it. Make more movies like this. Done.
Yeah. Thanks, Hulu. Thank you Spotify for giving us Hulu. That's it. We wouldn't have Hulu either way. Although I will say this, shout out to Hulu. It's the only place where you can still watch the best, my favorite comedy show of all time, Scrubs. It's the only place that streams it. So thank you, Hulu.
Doesn't HBO Max have Scrubs?
I wouldn't know. I'm not going to pay for fucking HBO Max.
I'll enjoy my subscription when I get it for Wonder Woman.
Thank you. Stop spending money on other people.
No, we're keeping it. We're fucking keeping it. Wonder Woman, Godzilla. No, Godzilla versus Kong. I'm watching it in theaters. Godzilla versus Kong. I will buy all the tickets around me in the 12-foot area. I'm watching Kong in theaters. Godzilla versus Kong.
How about this? I go visit you and we watch Kong and Godzilla because that's
in the theater or in my house.
Wherever, man. I will watch it wherever.
Fuck yeah, let's go.
Okay. If you're listening to us on Spotify, iTunes, you can follow us on any of our links down below. Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to hear more about our thoughts on movies, go to therollback.net. I've been Chema.
And I've been Eddie. And this was The Rollback.